Hello, colleagues. My name is Claudia Abar, and I am a kindergarten teacher in District 4. I'm also one of your virtual content specialists for kindergarten math. We wanted to continue highlighting the summary slides and giving you suggestions, on how to better use them. I'm going to be sharing from Module 5, Day 18 today as our guidance begins. You can find these lessons on TeachHub. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to be going straight into the summary slide. Now, if you have not watched the other videos with this lesson, a reminder is that we created a video to highlight that the guidance slide for this summary was incorrect. This slide was from yesterday's lesson, unfortunately, and it made its way onto today's deck. So I'm going to go over what is the summary slide actually asking and what we want you to suggest, or what we want to suggest you do with your students. This is the summary slide, and it will always be in blue. Summary and the additional practice slides are going to be things that you can do with your children after the lesson. The summary is kind of like your wrap up when everything is done. And the additional slides, which I'm going to go into, are in case you notice some children still having difficulty with the topic or the subject that you did on that day. So the summary slide from today says, let's count to step from 79 to 90. And then it says, and from 61 to 71. We have the hundreds chart here because we believe that another representation is key for the students. While they are using the number rack for a lot of the problems in this lesson, the hundreds chart, which is something that they would use in the classroom or maybe even at home, is something that we want to make sure that they become familiar with. Some of the suggestions here, as they count from 79 to 90, they can do that here on the number rack. And of course, they can do it here. Maybe they can tap on the number. They can maybe put dots on it. And I will show you that's something else that you can do with the annotating feature if you're using these slides on something else. And of course, when you follow this link, it will hyperlink you over to the number rack, and then we can show this here. It will show this rack with the 4 rows. How can we show one more than 19? What you want your students to say is that pushing the 1 over, then it creates one more. So it creates 2 10s, 0 1s. The same thing when they have 30. How do we show one more? We want them to say that we will slide the bead over or anything that sounds similar to that. Now for the additional slides in this lesson, we went ahead and created an extra video. And these are just some of the suggestions that we have for the additional practice. One thing that you can do as your children work on the number rack, after they finish the problems, and this one example is completely done on the demo video, just to guide them as to how to do it, how to color the beads, how to slide them over. So when your students are done with the work, and I'm going to show you with this slide, they will go here to the number rack. It will bring them straight to a number rack that has the right number of beads that we want them to have. Let's go back to it. And it says color the 45th bead green. So we would expect your students to slide 10, 20, 30, 40, and here 45. And then your students will go ahead and color this. I'm going to do it quickly to show you what they will do. And you can assign this slide on your Google Classroom. So once your students go ahead and do this, and there is another step to this one, color the 52nd bead blue. They will continue to slide all these over. And the practice slide for this is already done. So your children will be able to do this independently or do it at home, not so much independently, but maybe with parent support. Once they finish this, your students have now been shown how to do a couple of things. In the sharing option, they were shown how to save the image onto a device and then email it or attach it to a Google Classroom, or how to share the code. I also asked your students to write their name somewhere on the slide so that your students will be able to show you, or at least you'll be able to recognize who the work is from. Now, once your students do this, one way to share it with you, which is the way that I share it, I actually share the slides in my Google Classroom as an additional assignment. So my students share the codes as one of their comments. So that way I know exactly who's doing it, who's not doing it, and I can see the work in real time. It's one tool that saves me tons of time because it's an additional assessment, which I'm going to bring you back to, showing you that while the summary slide for this session is this, The slide itself, the guidance slide, is inaccurate. However, the assessment guidance is not. This is something that you can still use with the hundreds chart that we just did. Count across tens when counting by ones through 40. Recognize that the numbers within a group of tens have the same number in the tens place, while the other numbers in the ones place are 0 through 9. This is what we want the students to be able to master at the end of the session. I hope that you found this slide useful. I hope that you find the additional practice and the summary slides to be something that you can continue to use in class as you assess and guide your kids through the work. Thank you so much for watching. See you soon.